40 seconds away from picking up the count. Launch 4 minutes, 20 seconds away.
And we are standing by to resume the count in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
T-minus 4 minutes.
T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
FAC.
After
Pad water
launch.
system enabled.
Enabled.
After launch, we'll hear the voice of United Launch Alliance's Patrick Moore providing a status of the flight of the Delta II and NOAA's JPSS-1.
First stage internal.
First stage
Second
of the
stage
Delta internal.
Internal.
FAC. Divert AC flows.
Roger.
Prop 1. Vent helium umbilical as follows.
Roger.
T-minus 3 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. Everything remains go.
T-minus 3 minutes.
Prop 1. Vehicle fuel tank press open.
Open.
Fuel umbilical purge open.
Open.
SSC. Armed vehicle ordnance systems.
Active. SNA's armed.
First stage armed.
Second stage armed. Armed.
FSC. Bat 1 heater control exit.
Exit.
Bat 2 heater control exit.
Exit.
T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. NASA launch manager Omar Baez informed ULA launch director Tom Heater that NASA is go for launch. At liftoff, the Delta II RS-27A engine and 6 of the 9 solid rocket motors will ignite, generating more than 1 million pounds of thrust. The remaining 3 solid motors will ignite about 64 seconds after launch when the first 6 solids burn out.
Minus 2 minutes.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
Prop 1. Pressurized vehicle launch tank.
Pressurizing.
FAC. Establish pulse suppression water on.
Roger.
1 minute, 45 seconds away from launch.
One minute 30.
SSC. Hydraulic external power on.
External.
HYE. Check hydraulic pressure go.
1 minute 20.
Topping to 100%.
One minute 10.
SSC. Hydraulics internal.
Internal.
T-minus 1 minute.
Rock, report range status.
This is Rock. Range is green.
LC. T-minus 60-second limits on.
And the range operations controller reports that the range is green.
T-minus 45 seconds and counting.
LC. Launch enable to flight.
Flight.
ATC-3. Main power disable on.
On.
Minus 35.
Hydraulics are go.
T-minus
Minus
30
30.
seconds.
Status check.
Go Delta.
Go JPSS.
Minus 20 seconds.
Launch conductor Scott Bunny reports a green board. Everyone is go.
T-minus 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, engine start, 1. And liftoff of Delta II and NOAA's Joint Polar Satellite System 1, making the U.S. a more weather-ready nation.
The Delta II is proceeding on a flight azimuth of 196 degrees, just to the west of 180 degrees south.
Looking good. Also seeing a good symmetric burn across all 6 groundlet solids.
We're listening to the voice of
20 seconds into
Patrick
flight.
Moore, ULA flight commentator. 33 seconds into flight, the Delta II rocket will reach Mach 1, breaking the
Now
speed
passing
of sound.
30 seconds. Chamber pressure on main engine and veneer engines continue to look good. Now passing Mach 1. Delta II is now supersonic.
At 49 seconds, Delta
And
II
continuing to see a
encounters
very symmetric burn across all 6 groundlet
maximum
solids.
aerodynamic pressure, or max Q. This is the point where the mechanical stress in the rocket
Now
reaches
passing
its peak.
48 seconds. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
The 6 ground-lit solid rocket motors will burn out about 64 seconds into flight.
Tail off.
The 3 air-lit motors will ignite a second and a half later.
And we have burnout and ignition of the 3 airlet solids.
Approaching the jettison of
chamber
the Delta
pressure on
II
the main
graphite
engine, veneer
epoxy
engine,
solid
fuel
rocket
good,
motors in
gas
3
generator,
sequences
fuel,
of 3.
and LOX injector
The
pressure.
first 3 will fall away 1 minute 26 seconds into flight, followed a second later by the next 3.
Now 1 minute 25 seconds into flight. And we have good jettison of all 6 groundlet solids.
The final 3 air-lit motors will continue to burn until they are jettisoned 2 minutes 11 seconds into flight.
1 minute 40 seconds into flight. Chamber pressure on the main engine, both veneer engines continuing to remain very stable. Gas generator, fuel, and LOX injector pressure is also looking very good.
And we're standing
Now
by
passing
for the
2
jettison of the final 3 solid rocket motors.
The chamber pressure is on the airlit solids tailing off in preparation for burnout. And we have burnout of the airlit solids and good jettison of all 3 airlit solids. And the booster LOX tank press valve has been opened. LOX tank ullage pressure response looks good.
2 minutes 30 seconds into the flight of Delta.
And main engine and veneer engine chamber pressures continue to remain very stable.
Once again, listening to Patrick Moore, United Launch Alliance flight commentator.
Now 2 minutes 50 seconds into flight, now passing Mach 10.
The next major milestone is main engine cutoff, or MECO. The first stage RS-27A main engine
And
will
3
cut
minutes
off.
into flight. Engine operating parameters on main engine and both veneer engines continue to look good.
MECO is scheduled for 4 minutes 20 seconds after liftoff. That will be followed.
Minutes 20 seconds into flight. Just 1 minute remaining now until main engine cutoff. And vehicle body rates have smoothed out nicely now as the vehicle continues to climb through the upper atmosphere.
Nine seconds after MECO, we'll have separation of the first and second stages of the Delta.
Into flight. Main engine chamber pressure looks good. Both veneer engine chamber pressures continue to look good. Gas generator, fuel, and LOX injector pressures remain very stable. Vehicle body rates also looking very good. Now at 4 minutes into flight, about 20 seconds remaining until main engine cutoff. Following main engine cutoff, the veneer engines will continue to burn for a few additional seconds to maintain attitude control, leading up to stage separation. Standing by for main engine cutoff momentarily. And we have MECO, main engine cutoff, and VECO, veneer engine cutoff. And we have good indication of stage separation, standing by for stage 2 ignition.
The first and second stage, the Delta II have separated.
Stage chamber pressure looks good.
And ignition of the second stage.
And we have a good indication of fairing jettison. And vehicle body rates have smoothed out nicely from the staging events. Now 4 minutes 50 seconds into flight. The first burn of the second stage will last just under 6 minutes.
The payload fairing that protected NOAA's JPSS-1 during its dynamic flight through the atmosphere has been jettisoned, exposing JPSS-1 to space for the first time.
This first burn of 4 for the Second stage on Delta II will position NOAA's JPSS 1 in its correct orbit. The third burn will position a series of CubeSats in their proper orbit, and the fourth burn will be a disposal burn of the Delta II second stage. All of these burns happening over the next hour and 45 minutes.
Now passing 5 minutes, 30 seconds into flight. About 5 minutes remaining in the first burn of the second stage. Vehicle body rates continue to remain very smooth. Chamber pressure on the second stage engine looks good. Hydraulic system pressure on the second stage also looking good. Fuel and oxidizer feed line pressures remain very stable in nominal values.
Six minutes
now
into
passing
flight.
6 minutes into flight.
Listening to Patrick Moore, ULA flight commentator.
And now passing 6 minutes, 30 seconds into flight. 4 minutes remaining until engine cutoff. Second stage engine continues to perform well. Chamber pressure remains very stable. Fuel and oxidizer feed line pressures also remain very stable within family. Hydraulic system pressure also remaining stable. And seeing a nice decay profile on the helium bottle pressure, as expected.
Recapping where we are. The Delta II rocket launched at 1:47:36 a.m. Pacific Time, carrying the Joint Polar Satellite System 1 inside a payload fairing atop of the rocket. The Delta II first and second stage engine with 9 solid
Now
rocket
passing
motors.
7 minutes, 30 seconds into flight.
And the Delta second stage had performed well.
Rates remaining very smooth, close to zero on roll pitch and yaw body rates. Second stage engine continues to perform well. Chamber pressures and fuel and oxidizer feed line pressures continue to look good. Now 8 minutes into flight.
Coming up on 2 minutes till second stage engine cutoff number 1 at 10 minutes 30 seconds after launch.
And just under 2 minutes remaining now in the first burn of the second stage.
Nine minutes into flight. NOAA's JPSS-1 satellite atop the Delta II second stage.
And now just over 1 minute remaining in the first burn. Second stage engine continues to perform well. Chamber pressure well within expected values. Fuel and oxidizer feed line pressures also remain very stable. Hydraulic system pressure within the expected range. And body rates continue to remain very smooth, close to null for all body rates.
About 30 seconds
30
away
seconds
from
remaining until
second
engine
stage
cutoff.
engine cutoff.
And standing by for SECO 1 in approximately 8 seconds. And we have engine cutoff. Vehicle body rate response is damping out nicely from the cutoff event.
And as you hear from Patrick Moore from United Launch Alliance, SECO 1 is confirmed, beginning a coast phase of just over 40 minutes. The engine will reignite at about 2:38 a.m. Pacific time, 50 minutes, 47 seconds into flight.
This first coast of the second stage should last approximately 40 minutes.
We are awaiting some key milestones in the mission. NOAA's JPSS-1 is scheduled to be deployed at 2:44 a.m. The JPSS-1 solar array is expected to be deployed by 2:50 a.m. And 5 CubeSats are scheduled to be ejected from the Delta II beginning at 3:08 a.m.
And in just a moment, we will be pleased to be joined by United Launch Alliance Program Manager Scott Messer to talk about the success of today's launch.
Now passing 12 minutes into flight.